the sigh of the land made crystal.
Bravely Default 2 is classic Final Fantasy at its core. Square Enix managed to introduce enough nuance into the old formula, streamlining the adventure for both newcomers of the series and hardcore fans of Final Fantasy. But where does it stand within the pantheon of its predecessors?
Had enough yet? Someone's getting stronger.
The classic turn-based action you know and love is here, with a more strategic take. You may either default to bank upon turns to use later in the fight, or brave to perform more than one action on a turn.
Let's see now.
Fucking 10 times tougher.
Hey, try this.
I can get used to this.
But the price paid is being unable to act for a short period after braving. Strategizing around this mechanic adds an extra layer of thought to the classic combat, and sometimes it's what makes or breaks most fights, as bosses and enemies can brave and default as well. There's a plethora of jobs in Bravely Default 2. Your characters will be finding jobs every couple of hours along the way. Ever wanted to be a dragoon with black magic? You've got it. Ever wanted to be a monk with dual shields? Covered. Or, how about make a team full of white mages? That way, you can never die. Such a rich job system encourages experimentation in your character's customization, and it's fantastic. Though the first half of the game is great, the midpoint starts to show evidence of budget cutting from the developers. Upon reaching the 4th chapter, the game has you revisiting the last 3 towns yet again, performing boring fetch quest type objectives, and running through old dungeons. Though the next 3 boss battles are great, and the narrative structure adds background to our villains' motivations, the gameplay leading up to each boss fight is nothing but a snore. After Adam's arc is over in the story, the next few main dungeons after him are a bit uninspired, with one dungeon having a gauntlet of bosses who are simply reskins of regular monsters we've fought previously. It's possible that development came to a turning point here as the pandemic hit. Either that, or more budget-saving strategies were implemented. As both a newcomer to the Bravely series and as a longtime fan of Final Fantasy, Bravely Default 2 swept me off my feet, which is why I have to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I urge any fans of the JRPG experience, new or old, to play this beauty. Let me know what you all think of the game in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching.
It's called an asterisk. Us two are on a journey collecting them, which is how we ended up happening across you.
But we're not friends or anything. I'm only here because he hired